because if you don't put in complying to the schedule, the Waverley schedule, for instance, for the garden section, the rules are at the start. So that's what you should be looking at. First of all, big print up the top, phone entries for general garden exhibits, children's exhibits and container grown plants on Thursday before the show. You have to phone them in between 4 and 8:30. Phone numbers in your schedule. The reason for that, you might think, oh, I might know what I've got till the show, till 2 days' time. But when we come and set up the show on Friday, the benches are all ruled up, so every exhibit that's entered has its space marked on the table. You'll get a little card and it'll have the number on it, and you'll find that number on the table, and that is your space for your exhibit. And we can't run a show without taking prior entries because you don't know how many. We haven't got room for unlimited space, and we just can't do it. So just make sure you ring an entry through. We can't take late entries either for the same reason. Every exhibit has its space, okay? You can stage them in your own container at home, or you can use the club ones. We briefly mentioned last month, Alison spoke about the green containers. There are 2 sizes, and there will be some of both. Or there will be some of those. Did you all hear that? There are 2 sizes. There will be some here. Or you can prepare your exhibits at home in your own vase and put them straight on the bench. We've changed the rules in the last few years. The thing to remember is the vase mustn't dominate. It can be a bottle. As long as it's clean and neat, the plant material has to be in water, but all the vase is doing is holding it there for the judge. So I think my first few exhibits were in milk bottles because they had a nice narrow neck. There are the 2 size containers. Another thing to remember, because if this exhibit was on the show bench at the show, it would be NAS'd. NAS means it's disqualified, not according to schedule, right? It would have been in the flowering shrub section, but at the start of the schedule, up the top in the rules, we've said they may be staged in their own containers, can be there. In capital letters, maximum staging space is 60 centimetres allowed. So I'm guessing, I haven't got my measure, but a good judge would have their measure. That is more than 60 centimetres across. And again, we have to have a limit so that we can know how to rule up and have the spaces right. You can go less, but you can't go more than the 60 centimetres. This one is well over 60. I'm guessing from tip to tip, that would be a metre. But what I would have liked to have seen, I'll just see any other rules, what are we? A container must consist of 2 or more stems, unless the schedule is calling for 1 bloom, spike, stem or truss. And that means 1 single flower, a single spike, a single stem, and that single stem is counted at the top of the vase. Sometimes you'll have something that branches a bit, and if it sinks down too low so that it looks as though it's got 2, again, that's NAS, because there's more than 1 stem at the top of the vase. A good thing to bring with you when you're staging your exhibits is, there are buckets here and water, some newspaper, because some damp newspaper is a very good staging tool to help you hold your plant material, the stems and things, in place. So in a single, we have bottles as well for the single stems. You can put a little wad of wet paper, as long as it's not sticking up and untidy at the top. You can put a little wad of paper in there to hold your stem to the position you want. But don't let it sink down so that you've got a couple of little side shoots. And then a container can be 2 or more stems. Usually you'll have more than 2, but if it sort of branches up and they're quite full, or you've only got 2, we'll go for 2. And there was a bit of, I think Alison and a couple of other people thought it had to be an odd number of stems. That's not right for your garden exhibits. It's a floral art rule where you have to have odd numbers of stems, but for cut flowers, general exhibits, you can have any number of stems as long as you stage them well, present them well. The judge likes to see air around. Say you've got 4 blooms of something, 4 daffodils even, or 4 dahlias at another show, or something like that. Don't cram them in. A judge likes to see the space around so they can see each flower or each thing that you're displaying. And don't be tempted to put too much in the container. We tend to pick, I usually pick more of what I'm going to put in, but show a bit of restraint rather than squash too much in, because that detracts. And unless the class asks for a mixed exhibit, like a container of flowering bulbs excluding daffodil, it's still one kind of plant. You don't mix your daffodils and jonquils, and it's got to be the one variety, rather than mix them all up. The container of small flowers, it says after it mixed, so you can mix the flowers in that one, but a container of small flowers, one cultivar, has to be all the one sort. Okay? Now this, I would like to make a bit of a mess here. Alison said, but it sinks down, it's out of proportion. But what you can do, sometimes if I do this, and it also looks as though it's got more flowers on it, if you condense it up a bit, any damaged pieces or any deadish pieces, take out. And I'm a bit inclined even to cut that top bit off and make it bush up. You can just leave a few, there's not many flowers on it. You take off, when you're at home, you should dress your exhibits before you bring them. That means you go over them for any dead pieces, old pieces, seed pods, damaged insects, anything like that. Your pot plants the same, go through it and make sure you clean the pots, make sure you clean off any dead or damaged foliage or bits and pieces that are on your exhibit. So it would probably be better if I had some wet paper in, because there's no limit on the height, it's only on the width, so that we can get them on the table. So I would be doing, and what it also does when you bring it down, it makes it look as though it's got more flowers in it, because and if it's asking for a container of flowering shrub, the floriferousness, that's a good word, isn't it, of the exhibit counts. The more flowers out counts. If it's got lots of buds and only 1 or 2 flowers out, and the next one has got more flowers out, well, naturally that's going further. All right? See, this is a good bit. See the flowers all out in there? I don't know whether I'm doing it to face you or face me. Colin warned me his secateurs are quite sharp and they feel as though they would. And it'd be really good if I put a finger in it, won't it? Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting. I've never seen this exhibit before. Hope it turns out all right. It's looking better already because it's looking like a lot more flowers in it, isn't it? If you do it at home, I always have a bit of a practice run at home. Then if you need another piece, that's going in or not? No, missing. Hopefully you can go out in the garden and find another piece just to make it look better.
So Shirley, if you wanted to show a big piece of magnolia, which is out about August.
Yes. I think, let me just have a look in the schedule.
Like it misbehaves very badly because it's only like
Yes,
twigs. Would you try to go in that big vase, or would you bring your own?
You bring your own. And that was always one of the classes that we had to bring your own. I made this. The magnolia, because it is difficult to stage and you need a heavy container. Let me just see. No, it's still got to comply with the 60. It's too hard. We can't rule up the table if we don't have that limit. So it is important that once you get your exhibit ready, that you check your
You've got to have your
width.
going this way.
It can go up, and you know, see that looks much better. I hope you agree it's your exhibit that I've just cut up. You can put in some more little bits around the bottom. The more flowers you can get into it, because I presume it was in the flowering class. So, you know, if you've got little pieces like this, pop them in around the side and you're getting more foliage, more flower, more oomph into your exhibit. I'll stop there, but see, and then I would be checking. See, I think that one there might be a bit wide. So let's just do that. It would be something you'd need to check. Right? Yeah, it's time to stop.
Would you trim off the bits that droop?
Absolutely.
Which bits?
Right at the
The
tips.
are dying.
Yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful because the judge doesn't like to see it all cut. So it's a little bit of, what do I say?
Visible trimming.
Yes. And there's anything you trim, they don't like to see a cut right there. They think, I wonder why they cut that off. So you can do it neatly, and I wouldn't cut them all off because then it would look all chopped. But here, by leaving those and thickening that up, that's what I would do with it anyway. Yes?